Welcome to a crisp January, little bit blowy morning. It's 3 degrees and I've got my warm drink. I'm going to take you for a little tour around the garden. There's not an awful lot to see because obviously nothing's growing at the moment, but it's almost quite a good time to come round because then you'll get to see the progress as the year goes on. So I'm currently standing outside our walled garden. From our house we've got a main lawn that leads all the way down. We've got an oak tree in the middle of the lawn, and then at the bottom we've got a polytunnel. This is a main bed outside the walled garden, and it's got sun on it all day long through the summer. Obviously it needs a good cutback, but I don't really touch that until the spring. I've got magnolia in here, sedum, buddleias, I've got roses, asters. What else have I got in here? Obviously Cicericium, because that's just everywhere. I've got a couple of yuccas in there. I grew sunflowers in here last summer. I have got dahlias that I tend to leave in here. Hello Snoop. Foxgloves are frosted at the moment, and then we've got this lovely euphorbia which is just coming out. My mahonia is looking glorious, so I cut that back really hard 2 years ago. So last year it didn't flower, but I'm really pleased that it's flowering again. When we moved in 3 years ago, it was a giant. It was taller than the pillar up here. It was absolutely huge. So yeah, I gave it quite a good hard prune, but it's come back really lovely. So this is the entrance into the walled garden. This was the original kitchen garden, and we've got one long herbaceous border up here, which again needs cutting back. There's a big rose over there which has just fallen over, and I'm just starting to create some beds down here. So just basically I'm just trying to get cut into the lawn so I can have more growing space. I've just started on another 3 no-dig beds for my cutting garden because I'm going to utilise this as part of my flower farm and grow as many flowers as we possibly can. So when we first moved in, these paths weren't here. It was all grass. There was a sort of a 1960s greenhouse about here. The garden had much more of a slope to it, so we've levelled it out, put some new turf in 4 sections, and then we put the gazebo in the middle just to give a little bit of structure to the garden. And then the greenhouse we added last year, so that's an Alitex greenhouse because we thought that was quite in keeping with a Victorian style house and a Victorian style garden. And I will show you the greenhouse properly at a later date. Beds might go in here this year if I've got the time to do it, we'll see. I've got roses climbing up the gazebo. Snapshot of the greenhouse and the polytunnel through the gazebo. This is the back wall, and we've got some 100-year-old espaliers here. So this one is a pear and this one is an apple. Got my old sunflowers which I still need to take out. Then I'm going to take you through the bottom of the garden where I'd like to put a gate on here at some point. And then to the left, I've got an aster bed just round the corner here. And that needs to be cut back soon. And then I've got my barn, which I dry my flowers in, which is just behind the hedging on the left. And then to the right-hand side, I've got some big trees. I've got a big oak and a big birch tree, which is right in the middle of the lawn, which is probably quite a good thing because it soaks up a lot of the water. We're very marshy around here, so this area is quite often a bit boggy, especially down where the polytunnel is too. In spring we've got lots of crocuses and daffodils will pop underneath the tree, but as you can see there are a lot of leaves which I have been slowly trying to just lift off the lawn because it does tend to burn patches in the lawn. So I've been raking and moving some of the leaves just over to the beds. There's a bed on the right hand side which I didn't show you, but it's that's where I've been using it as a leaf mulch pile.
And this area here is the area that is probably the worst down here. It's really, really boggy. And over the ceanothus hedge, which I will get rid of at some point because it's not really serving a purpose, are my compost bays. So I've got 4 bays here. These were put in by the last owners, and so again we need a little bit of TLC this winter just to turn them. We've got a summer house which is quite handy for storing some pots in. I've got it empty at the moment. On the way down to the polytunnel we've got the obvious trampoline, and which every household seems to have if you've got young children, and the tennis court, which is quite antiquated now, so we could restore it, but I think we're going to use it to grow on and put some raised beds. So I just kind of want to utilise it as much as I possibly can rather than restoring something that we don't actually use. So the left side we've got a big row of deer fencing. We've got a big family of deer which just live across the other side there. And then this is the new polytunnel, and then I will show you give you a proper tour of that at some point. But as you can see at the moment, got a couple of plants in there on the right hand side of the bed, but we've still got quite a bit of work to do in here.
And then we get locked in.
And this part of the garden is very wild and naturalistic. We've got lots of trees down here. In fact, that one I think is dead, unfortunately. Lots of daffodils. This whole area is covered in daffodils, and I'm actually going to wait until the daffodils pop up because I can't remember exactly where everyone is, and then I'm going to try and keep most of them as I possibly can, and then create some more beds down here for the flower farm. So this is going to be the main area for growing all the flowers. So that was my quick January garden tour, and I hope when I come back next I'll have a little bit more to show you.